bank holiday weekends tend to look generally just maybe bring more people outdoors. And we know that from national statistics that around 2/3 of accidental drownings actually happen. They begin with land-based activities in terms of walking, fishing, taking photos near the water.
So
So I
people who
suppose,
don't
look, here
intend
in
to get in
County,
the water.
yeah, exactly. So I suppose here in County Clare, we're particularly lucky to have our incredible coastline that we have along the Atlantic coast, around by Loophead and even into the Shannon Estuary too. So it's a fantastic amenity, but we just want people to respect the water at the end of the day. So, and look, as I said before, many of these incidents actually begin on land with people walking on cliffs, fishing on rocks, or even getting too close to the water's edge. So, and even after the winter, for example, cliff paths and rocky shorelines can be slippery as well. So it's just, we don't want people to underestimate that. And similarly as well, in the context of people underestimating maybe how cold the water still is in March. Even though the weather might feel mild, the water temperature is still very low, and cold water shock can affect even strong swimmers. So I think, in summary, from the RNLI and the other agencies' perspective, it's quite simple, really, for people to check the weather, tide conditions before heading out, avoid alcohol near the water, and if you're on the water or fishing near rocks, wear a life jacket, because look, it can make all the difference, really. And I think, look, like RNLI stations around the country, Kilrush RNLI, we respond to a range of call-outs on the Shannon Estuary from boats getting in difficulty, people who've got in trouble in the water. But I think in reality, a lot of these incidents could be avoided with a bit of preparation. So that's really the core of the joint safety message, highlighting around the bank holiday weekend, but St. Patrick's Day weekend.
And when you say preparation, are you talking about the likes of checking the weather conditions, knowing what you're going into, or would it be more the likes of personal flotation devices?
Yeah, I think it's really, I think it's really across the board, because we can check the weather, we can check the tides now on our phone. There are quite simple sort of checks that we can do beforehand. And I think coming up to St. Patrick's Day as well, the piece around avoiding alcohol near the water is a lot more prevalent also. But I think because the weather the next couple of days isn't fantastic, we mightn't expect people to be actually out in the water. But people do take a bit of respite essentially with cliff walks, and they are very slippy at this time of the year, so just be conscious of that.
If people are at the county's waterways over the weekend and they themselves are in difficulty, or if they encounter somebody who's in difficulty, Charlie, how can they alert the relevant authorities to that?
Yeah, of course. Look, if anybody sees somebody in trouble on the coast or near the water, call 999 or 112 and ask for the Coast Guard. Look, the Kilrush RNLI and many of the other Coast Guard units are made up of volunteers in the community. Look, when the pager goes off, crews leave work, family, or whatever they're doing to respond to somebody in difficulty. It's something the community here is very proud of. And look, we want the best for everybody, and we have no problem in launching to a false alarm with good intent. If you do think somebody's in trouble in the water, call it in. There's no issue in going out checking. We prefer to bring people back home to their families this weekend.